And I'm Yoshi Kawamura, a founding member of Art Society Japan, and a member of the Art Committee member. Today, I'm proud to introduce Takayuki Daikoku-san to you, a Japanese sculptor. He was born in Shiga Prefecture and graduated from Osaka University of Arts in Fine Arts. He lived in Germany twice, where he established his reputation as an artist. He is always conscious of a concept akin to the fluctuation that occurs between the two meanings and converts the concept of between vibration, which fluctuates between two opposing terms, such as the inner and outer, stillness and motion, nature, culture, the human physique, and the relationship between two total opposites into his work. Utilizing wood, Japanese wash paper, mortar, and metals, he expresses in forms such as sculptures, drawings, and installations, and his own uniquely expressive language. So please enjoy Daikoku-san's presentation. Thank you.
Hello everyone. My name is Takayuki Daikoku. I am a sculptor. Thank you, Asia Society Japan, for my invitation to be here today. And thank you, Kawamura-san, for the nice introduction. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak about myself here today. Through this presentation, I'd like to share my works and background. Today, I'll talk about 5 things. Firstly, about my hometown and my sculptures. Secondly, my first stay in Germany. Thirdly, my second stay in Germany. Fourthly, about after returning to Japan and my other works. And lastly, I want to talk about my project in Dallas in 2020. I have been influenced by many during my life in Germany, as well as growing up and living in Japan. I was born and raised in Omi-Hachiman City, Shiga Prefecture. During my childhood, I often played in nature, such as rivers, small mountains, rice fields, and Lake Biwa. I was influenced and inspired by these natural environments. Many of my sculptures are in an organic form and represent plants, fruits, and seeds. However, I don't want to imitate forms. I want to show the essence of nature through my sculptures. In addition, based on my observation of natural structures, it seems that an individual as a whole is made up of an assemblage of simple forms. For example, if you observe a tree, it is an assemblage of trunks, branches, leaves. If you look at the forest from a bird's eye view, you will see that it is similarly an assemblage of trees that from a forest. Therefore, my sculptures are formed by combining parts of simple shapes. Later, a sculpture called Keres appeared. It is named of the fertility goddess who appeared in Roman mythology as a symbol of nature and life. It could be interpreted that these simple forms of the sculptures have been interacted, one part or several parts from these in their aggregated organic forms, and then enlarged. So second one, I would like to talk about my first stay in Germany, so in Berlin, between the years 2001 to 2003. People often ask me why I chose Germany. Because I wanted to test my abilities and luck as an artist in Europe, a region with a long history traditional Western arts. This was to test whether I could achieve an exhibition in Berlin without a connection in German society and with a limited use of the German language. In addition, it set myself a time limit of 1 year. If I was not able to hold an exhibition, I would have decided to give up on being an artist. Berlin was in the process of redevelopment. It seems like there were not many Japanese people living there at the same time. I thought that it might be possible to hold an exhibition in such a situation. During my first stay, I had a great opportunity to meet a German artist at the sculpture workshop managed by the city of Berlin. I learned so much about drawings and sculptures from him. I was able to hold the exhibition through him and other German people in Berlin, and because I achieved my goal, and I returned back to Japan. So next, I would like to talk about my second stay in Germany between the years 2011 to 2016. For 5 and 4 months, I lived in a small town named Rathenau, which a population of about 30,000 in Brandenburg, Germany. It takes about 60 minutes by train from Berlin Central Station to there. Why did I move to Germany again? When I was 30 years old, my father passed away suddenly. This led me to spend a lot of time thinking deeply about life and death. At the same time, I felt the fragile nature of human life. I felt strongly that you only live once. Therefore, I thought I'd like to try once again to make many achievements as an artist in Germany. During this period, I have held many exhibitions in Berlin and other cities, but I would like to talk about some of a few typical exhibitions. I was making drawings and tableaux in a corner of my house in Rathenau first. Afterwards, since the summer of 2012, I began working in my own studio on the outskirts of Friesach, Brandenburg, a town with a population of about 2,500. So finally, in 2013, I was able to have a solo exhibition at Semyon Contemporary, a gallery in Berlin. My organic work forms were influenced by the nature of Omi region and were redesigned with inspiration from the local environments, culture, and design of Germany. My works were upgraded to an expressive language that incorporates logical and mathematical beauty. Since then, I have exhibited my work in solo showing, group showing, and art fairs, mainly in Germany. The open-air sculpture project in Wagenitz in 2015 was particularly memorable for me. It was cooperating with Semyon Contemporary and the county of Havelland, Brandenburg, on a 3-year project. For this exhibition, I created and exhibited 4 large sculptures. The sculptures in the semi-primitive nature park in Wagenitz are white organic sculptures hanging in seamless black iron frames, and real organic plants are spread out in their environment. I took pictures of these installations of the same angle over a period of about 6 months, roughly every 2 weeks. During this period, the background of sculptures naturally changed with the seasons. In the summer of 2016, after experiencing many things as an artist and in my personal life in Germany, I returned to Japan. Initially, I had no opportunity to show my work after returning home. However, in 2017, Aso Kazuko-san, organizers of Dandan exhibition, invited me to participate. This exhibition was my first great opportunity to show my work in Tokyo. After that, I started to have solo and group exhibitions at the gallery in Tokyo, Maruedo, Japan, which gave me more opportunity to show my works. At first, I had very little opportunity to have contact with Japanese artists and their activity in Tokyo. However, through Dandan and Maruedo, Japan, I was able to meet and interact with them. Their presence has since been an important motivation for me, owing to the fact that I think it's important to engage in friendly competition with other artists. Also, in Germany, I continued to show my works at Semyon Contemporary until the present day. So next, I'd like to talk about the project in Dallas. However, here's a little more about my other works. I create sculptures and drawings and 2-dimensional works, such as following. So there are my drawings. So there are a folded drawing series. And inverted drawing series. So lastly, I'd like to share my story about the most impressive project in Dallas that was carried out in 2020. As exhibitions were canceled or postponed in order of the pandemic, I had fewer opportunities to present my work in Japan. On the other hand, through the gallery in Berlin, I was able to have an opportunity that I was commissioned by an art collector in Dallas to create a large-scale work. Through the project, it was my first opportunity to install my sculpture remotely from my studio in Japan. So initially, I planned to install the piece locally and use the opportunity to deepen my relationship with the collector. However, due to the pandemic, the installation didn't materialize in person. I communicated with the collector via email about the installation and transportation of the work to the US for 6 months. Regarding the iron frame, I sent the schematic data to her. She then ordered it from a steel company in Dallas, and it was set up in her garden. And I created sculptures like white vegetables in my studio in Japan and shipped them to her. Eventually, the art collector in Dallas, the galleries in Berlin, and myself in Shiga connected via an online video. The collector's family successfully attached white vegetables to the iron frame under my guidance, which was a few feet while the rest of the world was shutting down. The landing of my masterpiece in the US is a fantastic opportunity for me as an artist. I can also be said that this work was completed through a relationship that was beyond the time and the space of the 3 cities in the world. So to conclude, I believe that if we learn from the natural diversity, human society can also become a healthy and flexible ecosystem by maintaining diversity. My stay in Germany allowed me to interact with local artists, galleries, and people, which was a great opportunity for me to broaden the scope of my mindset, perspective, and my works. This opened the door for more opportunities for exhibitions and an opportunity to meet the people in the art world in Germany, Dallas, and Japan. Looking back 20 years ago, that step I took back then was an indispensable and significant step. As an artist, I would not be who I am today without that first stay in Berlin. When I have the opportunity to participate in an exhibition in Japan and overseas in the future, I would like to use my experience so far to make a positive contribution to Japanese art world. Thank you so much for your time and kind attention.
Thank you very much, Daikoku-san, for your nice presentation. I have some questions to you. And since you have been so active in Germany, especially in Europe, what kind of feedback or critiques have you got from German or European collectors?
My basic concept, the essence of the nature, or I represent a harmless beauty that occurs. Just position of conflicting meanings. And so, of course, Japanese people also are living also surround nature environment, and also German people too. But I think it is a little bit different concepts between German and Japanese about nature. And so many Japanese people believe that God live in all things. For example, trees, or ground, or fire, or air, or so. But many German people tree is a tree. Water is water. And so then I think it is it's a different concept, both of them. But on the other hand, when I was in Berlin, some Germans are interested in Asian culture. For example, Asian food, or yoga, or Japanese Budo, or like Aikido. So actually, I have been practicing over 10 years Aikido through Japan and Germany. So anyway, and so nature is nature, but it is different. So for both different culture or different people, then I think, for example, a gallery in Berlin have curious and evaluated about my work style, which I capture nature or nature's forms or construction. So I think that.
Very interesting. Thank you very much. And what is your most favorite artist or influenced artist so far?
Okay. My favorite artists are several artists. For example, Anish Kapoor, and Constant Brancusi, and Eva Hesse, and Louis Bourgeois, or Giuseppe Pennone. Particularly, I love the works of Anish Kapoor. And at first, I saw his sculpture, his big exhibition in Berlin at the Martin Gropiusbau in 2013. And at the time, I was bowled over by the weight and presence of his sculptures, and also the ability to baffle the viewer's senses. And so he is from Indian, and so he is to be said. He is ambitious artist, and so I am impressed from his sculptures. So ambitious, conscious sculptures between Indian, Hinduism and European culture.
The last question is, what do you think of the possibilities of Japanese contemporary artists, and what do they need to do to get more attention from the world art scene?
And for example, it is my experience when I was Germany, and of course when I stayed in Germany at first, I could not express or speak Germany about my express or my characteristic, and then I had to express absolutely And so during my express to German people, for example, galleries or other artists. And so at the time, why did I do? And so I tried to, for example, write email or something gesture or something activity through my expression or my concept. And I thought that these action is very, very important. And so I think Japanese people, the Japanese artists, I think many Japanese artists can very high level skillful, and then express technique too. But German artists tendly to express own language, own their language, about their artworks. And I think it is also very important things. And also personally, I believe that. Japanese art system and worldwide art system, especially contemporary art, and art will be I think different, many things different. Then I think I have to do these art system lead to the same rule.
Thank you very much. And now I would like to move to take some questions from the floor or the online.
Thank you very much for your talk. It seems that most of your artwork revolves around nature, and I love how you can take inspiration from nature, but also bring back the sculpture into nature and have it be a wonderful photographic series. For having traveled to Germany twice, do you have any more plans of going back to Germany or traveling elsewhere with, I don't know, would you be traveling anywhere else for nature inspirations to continue your practice?
Practice in Germany or in Japan?
Or do you have any future travel plans?
A future travel in Germany or
anywhere else?
Okay. Yeah. So to be honest, I in 2016, and so I think 6 years ago, I came back to Japan, and so I live in my hometown with my family, and then I think it's not easy to move to again with my family to upload, and of course if I have an opportunity to take an exhibition upload, and of course I try to take these exhibition, and actually I challenge the things in Japan, and for example, I created the exhibit, these with iron frames sculptures in the nature environment, and I took these installations about 6 months, roughly every 2 weeks, and actually I would like to try about these same situation in the forest in Japan, and then these are the same sculptures, and then in the setup in the forest in Japan, because I felt it is a different between forest in Japan and Germany. I think it's affect from the something weather or climate, and it is different degrees or temperature or humid. Then I felt when I was in the forest in Germany here, and I felt it appeared something fairy or witches. But in Germany, in Japan, I felt appeared something ghost or monster. Then if I could take these same situation, and then I think it happens different atmosphere between Germany and Japan, and I wanted to exhibit these pictures, both in the same space. Thank you very much.
補足すると、今後自然他の国に行きたいところってありますか？その影響を受け自然からの受ける影響で作品が変わるっていう意味でどこかインスピレーションを受けたい国とか場所とかってありますか？海外でも日本でもいいんですけども。
Yeah, I think now I want to think to install in the nature in Japan. And so next time, for example, the forest or in front of the lake view.
Hi, my name is Mitsumatsu Kadota. I am an artist. Congratulations, Daikoku-san, and thank you for inviting today. So, I'd like to ask you, I am a painter. What do you think is difference for you between paintings and sculptures? I want to know your thinking and mindset. Could you tell me, please?
Okay, thank you very much. You are so nice interaction. So what is so different things between sculpture and paintings? And I am also very curious about these topics. And for example, the 18th century philosopher, so Johann Gottfried Herder, and described the sculptures as the art of sense, of touch. And also he explained that is the fundamental sense of understanding the world. In his words, I interpreted the mean that creates the sculpture physical act is actually being just in front of us. So in other words, so it is just something exists. So for example, if my opinion, painter, many painters want to create when many painters create paintings on the campus. So they wanted to created something illusion on the campus. And for me, and I want to try to, for example, two-dimensional works, and I through sculpture approach. And so I think it is also different things. For example, this folded drawing series. And so if you wanted to draw something line, and then so you would use for example pen or pencil or brush it. And so but when I created these folded drawings, and actually I folded at first, and then so it happens something peak on the mountain or on the paper, folding paper, and then so I painted on something colors, and then if I open again, and so it happens slightly lines, and I think it is a different approach. So during painter or sculpture, and so it is my opinion. So different things between sculpture and painting.
Thank you very much. Jennifer Rogers, one of the founding members of the Age Society Japan. I wondered, you do use a lot of different mediums. You started in sculpture, you do the photography, you do painting. So you have quite a variety of ways that you express your art. Is your favorite sculpture? What makes you interested in having so many different artistic expressions as part of your portfolio? What is the inspiration or driver for that?
Okay, thank you very much. You have a nice question. And so when I was a student at the university, so I think about 20 years ago, and I thought always I wanted to employ natural materials, because I grown up in my hometown, and so there are many natural environments. And also, my father made rice in the rice field, and so I saw often these scenery. Then I influenced by these scenery, and I think so. Then when I was a student, I used already these natural environments, such as wood or Japanese paper, and swallow rope. And so nowadays also I have been choosing also such as much as possible to use natural materials, and also I thought it is very important as a sculpture about some materials, problem and materials. And of course, it would be a situation, for example, outdoor or outside, and then I cannot use these just a natural environment. For example, paper or something, because it is not steadily for the weatherproof. But I want to use these natural materials. It is constantly creating thought.
一番好きな分野はどちらですか？彫刻なのか、ペインティングなのか、写真なのか、どのミディアムが一番好きなんですか？
So I'm a sculptor, so therefore, I thought these are my works in everything sculpture.
Thank you for your presentation. The project in Dallas sounds very interesting. I understand that you didn't plan to do online installation initially. It was just because of the COVID. You had to do it that way, but turned out to be very new style of your work. My question is, do you think you will explore the online installation in the future, or it's just for this pandemic?
Thank you very much. You are nice question. It is possible for me. It's possible for me to use remotely during this great project in Dallas. And so in fact, and actually, after this project in Dallas in 2020, I created other new sculptures for the air exhibition in Germany in 2020. And so at the time, I created like these white vegetables, and then I shipped to Germany, and then to there in Germany, and so the galleries in Berlin attached my white sculptures to the black frame, iron frame. Then I think I thought at the time, it is possible remotely in the future about to create my sculptures remotely in the other countries or in Japan too.
I have a second question.
Yeah, please.
Now that I'm looking at the structures of your work, I see a theme of grids being used, like a grid, like a
グレードスピン
グリッドみたいな形が出てきているのを見てるんですけど、is that an inspiration from Jungle Gym? Is that something that just came up because you need to put things in a box to hang them? Or to me, it looks very playful. I'm wondering how did you come up with that idea?
about this sculpture, and I know, and so these are I guess cubic form is a so symbol of so grand, and in Japan. Then so because I created so at that time so something so nature or so well, grand of nature or so these essence of nature. Then so I chose so these so form cubic form, and but so it is a little bit so difference so in so cosmos in which I created in Germany, and so like so jungle gym forms, and so these are grid forms I influenced by so design or so in Germany, so like as a Bauhaus or architecture. And then so at the time, so of course so I influenced by so Japan and Germany. Then so I saw a lot of these so designs or so art culture or so architecture in Germany.
Okay, so here's some online questions that just came in. One is, why do you live in Shiga? Is that an advantage or is a disadvantage as an artist or a sculptor?
Yes, thank you very much. You asked a question, nice question. So it is just so single reason. For example, I am from Shiga and I have my house in Shiga. And also, so proper so good workspace as sculpture is for me. And it is very possible it is very so important to create so art pieces or sculptures as artists. And so, but on the other hand, also, so there is a lot of beautiful nature in Shiga and close to traditional environment such as Kyoto or Nara. And this is a little bit one of the merits to living in Western Japan. And on the other hand, so now we can use so technology, so internet technology, and so we can already so communicate during internet, and also get so many information so during internet. And it is also if I could so use this technology, and I think it is I feel don't advantage. So when I live in so Shiga or so suburb so Tokyo, but however, actually I would like to have also so one more studio. Tokyo region, because it's so very close to so touch so people or facilities in the art industrial art world, and it is also advantage to live in so suburb in the urban area.
Thank you. Here's another question with regards to your project in Dallas that you've done. You basically did everything remotely, and this is a new way of working for an artist. Can you elaborate on that? Can you tell us about that? And how do you think this is going to be a workable solution for an artist going forward?
It is a very, it was so very so value things that so the art collector could so participate so this so install to attach the white sculptures to into the iron frame. And if I so ship so something just as small pieces or so something so paintings to other countries, and then but so when if the collector so or hang on so the pieces on the wall, it is so not so great value, and so compared to this project. And so if so for example so viewer or so the art collector could participate to install something art pieces or sculpture, and then it is a value for other artists too.
Thank you very much, Daikoku-san. I'm Tsutomu Horiguchi, co-chair of Art Committee of Asia Society Japan Center. And my question is, so since you are from Omi Hachiman, around Biwako, and so there should be something very Japanese in your sculpture, I believe. And can you tell from which country or which region a sculptor comes from by just seeing the sculpture itself? So, I mean, is it possible that you can see something very unique, very regional in the sculpture of a specific sculptor? Yeah, that is my question.
Yeah, to be honest, so I don't know about this. Which sculptures from where from the other countries, but I heard before if German people see my sculptures, and so she said it is this sculpture has this atmosphere in Japan. But on the other hand, so other Japanese people saw my sculptures, and she explained about my sculptures, and so my sculptures are atmosphere of something rice field in Germany. Then therefore I don't know. And so, I think so. It is very hard. Of course. So there is a tendency to style. From each countries.
With paintings, when the artist is actually painting themselves, there's a reflection of themselves that you could see. In sculptures, in the works that you do, which part do you think is a reflection of yourself? 自画像をアーティストの方が描くと結構自分がこういうふうに出てくると思うんですけども、彫刻の場合大黒さんがこの彫刻を作成される場合、ご自分の要素っていうのはどういうところに出てくると思いますか？通訳しますので、はい。
そうですね。例えばこの彫刻なんですけども、これはあれですね。このケレスという名前なんですけども、これはそのローマの神話の豊穣の女神の名前なんです。で、僕滋賀県の方でその自然の中で生まれ育った自然のそういう影響を受けているので、その中から例えばこういう作品の中から一つのものを取り出して拡大化するというふうにさっきプレゼンテーションでも話をさせてもらったんですが、それが一つのこの大きな僕の中のシンボルじゃないかなと思ってまして、なので自分の自画像というので彫刻というので当てはめるというのであれば、私の場合はそのシンプルな形のこのケレスというのが私の自画像なのかもしれないというふうに思っています。
For me, in the series called Celis, which is in Roman mythology, it's a god from a Roman mythology. The forms that I take from this this series, which basically makes it into a small, take out the small forms out into a larger side I think, is the representation of myself.
Finally, do you have any comments, Daikoku-san?
Thank you very much for your visiting today. And so I am very honored to present to here today in front of you. And so I usually like to be some more activity as artists in Japan and overseas. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Daikoku-san.